My therapist said something to me that cracked me open. He said, the funnel you're using to communicate is... He said, the funnel you're using to communicate is upside down. The way I'm processing emotions, the system is flipped, and it's not working. At first I was like, okay. But the more he explained it, the more it started to make perfect sense.
King Cole is...
My name is Cole Connor, and I was put here to do 3 things: create, inspire, love. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. A funnel's whole purpose is to make things flow smooth, slowly with direction. You pour stuff into the wide end, and it moves through the narrow tip at a manageable pace. That's how you're supposed to handle emotion. You let it in, you name it, you feel it, you release it, little by little. When the funnel's upside down, you're trying to force all those emotions, all those feelings, frustration, confusion, sadness, fear, anger, into the tiny hole. And it doesn't work. It gets stuck, it overflows, makes a mess, and that really hit me. See, when I'm alone, I don't feel this as much because I control how much time I spend around people. If something starts building in my chest, something I don't want to confront or feel, I can just take space. I don't have to explain, I just disappear for a little bit. No big deal. That space keeps me from needing to express things that I'm not ready to say. But in a relationship, when you actually live with someone, you can't just disappear. You're in the same space, the same energy every day. And for someone like me, that's when emotions kind of start backing up a little, just a little bit. If I'm with someone who processes emotions like I do, like maybe it's not a big deal. But if someone's wired differently, who sees, feels, or communicates things another way, it becomes harder to manage, because expression has always been hard for me unless I'm expressing through art, and I'm gonna go with that's not healthy to only express through art. So what happens is I start to overflow. I go quiet, trying to figure out what I'm even feeling, or maybe if it matters enough to bring up. It does. And particularly if I think this could cause one of my biggest fears, confrontation. And I can get distant as I try to navigate if it's worth that turmoil. My nervous system or my learned patterns never figured out how to let this stuff move through smoothly. And sometimes it just builds. Eventually it spills over into other parts of my life, not always in dramatic ways, but subtly, like I lose my patience, or I overthink everything, or I chase distractions that don't really help. And the whole time I'm like, I know something's wrong, but I just don't know how to flip the funnel back around. My therapist said this is like classic emotional suppression, and suppression isn't strength, it's just delay. The feelings don't disappear, they wait. They're just sitting there waiting. And then they find some other way out, usually sideways. He also kind of talked about emotional substitution, how when you don't know how to say what you feel, you start reaching for anything else to feel different, to feel numb, to feel in control, to feel safe. And this is where a word came up, alexithymia. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. It's a term that describes people who struggle to name and express their emotions. Not because they're heartless or detached, but because they genuinely don't have a language for what's going on inside. There aren't really words that they know. It's like the emotional signal is there, but the words don't come. And when you can't describe it, you can't release it. So it stays in the body, in the nervous system, in the reactions. And I'm not saying this is exactly what I have, but when I heard the term, I resonated with some of its characteristics. Because for most of my life, feeling something and naming something haven't always happened at the same time. And when you're dealing with that, flipping the funnel is that much harder. For me, growing up, emotional expression came with consequences. Too much emotion got me in trouble. Not because someone told me crying is weak, but because the adults around me didn't know how to deal with their own emotions, let alone mine. What I saw was usually emotional explosions or silence. So I learned early, keep it inside, stay small, be chill. You're just a likable guy. Don't rock the boat. Don't add to the fire. And if you do, be prepared for confrontation. And that stuck. Even now, when I do feel something real, hurt, sadness, anger, there's a part of me that thinks, if I say this, it'll just make things worse. So I hold it until I can't. So now I'm trying to unlearn that. I'm trying to flip the funnel back the right way, let emotions move through instead of pile up. That doesn't mean I'm crying every day. I do cry often though. Sometimes it's just saying I'm not okay right now. Sometimes it's writing something I don't show anyone. Sometimes it's just pausing in the moment and not running to the next distraction. It's messy, but it's honest. And slowly, I'm learning that honesty does not ruin everything. Holding it in does. So if you've ever felt like you're fine and then suddenly you're not, like your emotions are boiling over for no reason, check your funnel. Because sometimes it's not about being broken, it's just about being full. And learning how to let it out little by little might be the strongest thing you ever do. Hope this helps. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning, we're going. I'll catch you next time. Peace. Hi there. Thanks for watching. If you really liked it, maybe you'll like some of these too. While you decide, here's some music. Enjoy!